Good morning and welcome to another vlog. My name is Kat. This is Kat Talks, where I talk about books and writing. So I have just woken up. It is Saturday morning. It is 8 o'clock. I woke up about an hour ago, had a cup of tea, spoke to my partner and started reading again Throne of Glass. The writing is a bit up and down, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes it genuinely throws me out. You can tell that the author is trying to be clever. You can tell that she's trying to be clever because she says that characters are trying to be clever. For example, the king gave him a poisonous smile, my silver-tongued son. They watched each other in silence. But the actual things that they're saying don't make any sense in the context of the conversation upon which they are being said. And it does kind of throw me out. I keep having to reread conversations and be like, did that actually make any sense? And no. But I am enjoying it more than the first chapter where I was like, I wouldn't have picked up this book. So that's good. You know, that's an improvement. Today I'm hoping to get a significant chunk of the way through this so that I can get started on a very large expanse of sea, because that one has to be back in the library at the 10th. Someone else has requested it after me, which doesn't surprise me because it is one of those hip and new books. And it's all over booktube, and apparently my Swedish town in the middle of Sweden likes all of the books that booktube likes. So I'm going to assume there's a pretty big booktube following in this town. I don't know why. But the library seems to have every book that is popular. Pretty soon after it becomes popular, 5 months. It's a library, it's not a miracle worker, and it's a library in a different country. And then they're requested by about 17 people. Do you know how hard it is to get hold of Nevermore? Very hard, okay? Very hard. But yes, so I will be going to the library later today, and I will be going in, and I will be getting Circe, and then I will be coming out again, and I will not be getting any more books because I already have such a large TBR planned for April. And I'm hoping that if I finish a very large expanse of sea, and Throne of Glass, obviously, this weekend / before Monday, Tuesday-ish, then I can maybe finish Circe next week, and then I will actually have finished the entirety of my planned TBR for February, which is so exciting because it is the first time I ever did a TBR, and it was kind of long and I didn't expect to be able to finish it, so I'm super proud of myself if I do manage to. Obviously, I would have completely finished it by now if the library had let me have it before now, but obviously it was with someone else. So I feel like that one's not on me, Circe. But I'd still, even though it was held possessively by the library up until Wednesday, if I can finish it this month, can you imagine how proud I will be of myself? Pretty damn proud. All right, I'm gonna go play some video games actually, and then read probably, but mostly play video games. So as I said this morning, I went to the library to pick up a copy of Circe, and obviously I was good. Look how beautiful it is. And I definitely didn't pick up any more books, right? Of course not. I picked up a ridiculous number of books. So first of all, I went to the newly purchased section, and I found Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I have been wanting to get into Brandon Sanderson for a while. It was not suggested to me that I start with this book, it was suggested to me that I start with another book, but this was the one they had, so this is the one I got, sorry. And then while I was there, I also saw that they had a comic book, is that what you call these things? This is definitely not the first one in the series, this is the 6th one, but it is all in Swedish, and it is called The Tale of the Ice People, so I guess the Icelandics, I don't know. And this one is called In the Moonshine, and it has a wolf in it with some blood on him, so I guess it's going to be a kind of a fantasy or an old-fashioned saga. So I'm really excited to read this. It is entirely in Swedish, so there's continuing with my luck, I guess, of reading Rädda Orm. And on the back of that, I also picked up 2 books from the Halfdan series. Now, these two, 1 and 2 of the series, I have already read this one. This is about a Viking called Halfdan and his exploits. Now, I think I have read this before, so this one will be a rereading. From what I remember, Halfdan is half a Viking because he has a disability in some way, but I can't remember how he has a disability. It might be cerebral palsy, it might just be that he's really small compared to the other Vikings. I can't honestly remember, but they call him Halfdan because he is half a Dan. And then he proves through these books and exploits that he is not half a man at all, and he does lots of really cool and fun things with his friend that he meets in this one. I'm rereading it because although I have read it and I did read it last year or the year before, I read it in Swedish, and my memory isn't as good when I read in Swedish as it is when I read in English. So if I am going to read the rest of the series, I want to first refresh my memory on who all the characters are. There is a film coming out for Halfdan soon in Sweden, which I'm really looking forward to watching. So yeah, I wanted to read all the books first, of course. And then I made the terrible mistake of going into the young adult English section. and picked up Fangirl, which seems like everybody has read except for me, so I really wanted to read this so that I can also read the other one, The Carry On, I think, also by Rainbow Rowell, which is the fan fiction that the two women in here write. I don't know much about it except for I do know loads about this. It is about two sisters. They go off to university. One of them feels like she's losing the other because they're no longer spending any time together doing their fan fiction. She gets obsessed with this fan fiction, and it's about her time at university. And finally, I picked up a classic. I picked up Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I don't think I've read this one before, although I have read a lot of Jane Austen, so I could be wrong. But it's so cute, look, it's tiny! And it has gold-plated pages, which you can't really see. So obviously I had to pick this one up. It's going to be a pretty short read. Jane Austen's writing for me is always quite funny and easy for me to get into, so I think that this one will be a quick and tidy read. Obviously my TBR wasn't long enough, so, you know, I just maximised my library card. But yeah, that's it really. I haven't done much else except for read and play video games and eat sweets all morning, and now I'm going to have a Diet Coke and play some more video games and read some more and maybe watch some more YouTube. It is now bedtime, which is why I'm wearing hoodie pajamas. I set myself a goal today of reading until the, what's it called, Post-it note, which was 75% of the way through the book, or page like 294. And I was like, this is a really ambitious goal. I was only like on chapter 5 or 10 or something. I was like, I'm never going to get it, but at least if I set myself the goal, then I'll, you know, have something to aim towards. And obviously I reached the bookmark, which is, the book is finished. Like, all the bad shit's gone down. What happened? How did this happen? I don't even understand. So yeah, I guess my update is that I have read a lot more of Throne of Glass than I was expecting to today, and I actually really enjoyed it. Like, I know I said in the beginning that the first couple of chapters were badly written, but as it went on, the writing got more and more comfortable. There were still a few occasions where someone would say something softly, but not weakly, and I'm like, just say softly, dude. Softly doesn't mean, It's probably not something I would read again, at least not now, so I'm not going to buy it, especially since the library already has all of them, or at least most of them. But yeah, I am intrigued to see where this goes, and I take back what I said. The writing definitely improved, and yeah, I can definitely see where all of the story beats were hit. So that's really fun and cool, and I enjoyed it. Alright, I'm now going to bed because it is past 9. I think it's like 9:20 or something, and I really want to sleep. So I'm going to finish this tomorrow and then pick up A Very Large Expanse of Sea and see how much I can read of that. And then hopefully, if I manage to finish that, I'm going to pick up Circe. But let's face it, I'm not going to finish I'm not going to finish A Very Large Expanse of Sea in one day, but given how much of this I read today, maybe I am. And I spent 2 hours editing the blog for last week, which wasn't all of the editing I was supposed to do, but it was still a lot, and I went to the library, so honestly, I've had a really relaxing and productive. It's not really been productive, but I've read a lot and I enjoyed it. So, you know, there's that. Hi guys, it's bright and early on Sunday morning, which is 10:30. It is so sunny and warm on the balcony that I'm like tempted to just sit out there all day and read. Of course, I finished Throne of Glass this morning. I only had a couple of chapters left to go. Nothing very exciting happened in them. So, yep, I feel like I am going to pick up the next book in this series, but maybe not for a while. Like, I'm not like obsessed with it in the same way that I was with City of Brass, but we shall see. So that is the Spring Into Reading-a-thon 1. I have now 1 reading, but obviously that isn't how it works. And now I have moved on to my bonus book, which is A Very Large Expanse of Sea, and I am about 25% of the way through, a third of the way through. It's kind of hard to tell, probably 25%. I'm not really enjoying it so far. Like, the character, I don't know. I think my experience growing up was very different to the characters. Now, obviously, I was white and in a white country, so that might have something to do with it. I went to school with 3 people who wore headscarves or hijabs, and no one was ever racist to them that I know of. I certainly wasn't. We talked to them about school, and the only kind of thing that was made of their religion was whether or not they would get to skip chapel every morning, which was when we had our notifications and like people read our notices and stuff like that about competitions coming up. Spoiler, they did. It was great for them. Everyone else wanted to convert to being Muslim/Islam just because they could skip chapel, especially Sunday chapel, which was the longer version. As far as I'm aware, at least in school, nobody was particularly rude to them. Also, if this is a typical American experience of high school, like, what are you guys doing dissecting cats? Oh my god, I've never dissected anything except for like onions. What is your problem, America? Given that I find the way that she behaves to probably not be helping her cause in terms of making friends, but I do understand with moving around a lot why you wouldn't want to make friends. I have done the same. kind of thing. I only moved primary schools twice, but since becoming an adult, I have moved universities and towns and indeed countries a few times, so I understand what she means about not setting down roots. It is super hard, so I think I just deal with it in a very different way. I don't make close friends, but I'm also not angry with people when they don't want to be friends with me. Mostly I'm just sad and lonely because I have no friends. But yes, so I'm going to persevere because obviously I have read some quite good reviews for this one and I want to see how it goes. So I'm going to finish it and I need to get it back to the library because someone else has reserved it. So after I record my March wrap up for next week, I will be taking this straight back to the library for other people to enjoy it. Today my plans are mostly to go on the balcony and read a book. Oh, and I need to film something as well. So I actually went to town today and bought a hairband, a necklace and 2 pairs of jeans, one of which I'm not sure about. But I'm not going to show you any of them because I'm tired. So without further ado, it is 8 p.m. on Sunday and I wanted to tell you that I have finished a very large expanse of sea. I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to given the first 2 chapters. I really enjoyed the character building and the kind of like the process that all the characters went to. I still stand by my statement that if this is a valid look at bullying in high schools in America, then what the fuck you all on, people? Like seriously, get your acts together. But other than that, I really enjoyed this book. I felt like the characters were very authentic and very real, and I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to pick up Circe. Is it Circe or Circe? Look how brightly shiny it is. It's so reflective. But yes, so I'm really looking forward to picking that up. I was good and didn't pick it up after I finished A Very Large Expanse of Sea, because obviously I also finished A Throne of Glass this morning, and it was getting a bit ridiculous, and I needed to spend some time with my partner over this weekend, and not just with my nose buried in a book. But I am really excited to get started on this one. It doesn't smell half bad. It smells a bit dusty. It's a library book. I'm just really excited for the week to begin, to be honest. I'm really knackered, like definitely need a nap. My partner bought one of those weighted blankets, so we're going to see how that feels. And I'm gonna go call some people and then go to bed. So I'm sorry that my face is a mess and my hair is a mess and just I'm wearing the same pajamas that I was yesterday, but I'm honestly not feeling very well and it's really cold in the apartment and I have a migraine. So this is what you get, okay? This is just what you get. This is the unfiltered me. Oh god, I can't even do a frame. There we go! Haha! So obviously I talked yesterday, I know I'm very highly functional when I've got a migraine. I get enough of them. So yesterday I talked about picking up Circe and I was really excited about it, but unfortunately it is the only retelling I know of and it's the one that I'm going to be using for my owls. So I've had to put a hold on that one, but someone requested Truth Witch out on the 5th of April, so I'm going to have to start this one. Now this was recommended to me by Caught Between Pages, and if you don't know her you should check her out. So I am really looking forward to this. It came with very high praise and there'll be a read along in May, I think, for the second book in this, for all of the books in the series. So if I like this one I'll be able to join in with the second book. So yeah, I'm only 2 chapters in so far. It's a lot of world building, so we will see. That is it because I'm seriously in pain, so I'm gonna go now. Bye. We learnt a whole bunch of things today. The first thing we learnt is that my library has a science fiction and fantasy shelf dedicated to science fiction and fantasy. Alright, I knew that before, but I didn't know that they had English titles mixed in with the Swedish ones, so that is pretty cool. The second thing that we learned today is they lie a lot. Libraries lie, it turns out. So I actually searched for this on their catalogue several times and it was not in, like they just didn't own it. But I found it on the shelf, again the sci-fi and fantasy shelf. So I'm really excited to read this. The third thing we discovered is that when I say I'm going to the library for one book, you absolutely cannot trust me. You just can't. You just can't trust me. Just don't trust this face. Libraries, not a thing. The fourth thing, I've lost count. The fourth thing that we learned today, when you go into a library, they allow you to borrow more than 15 books. Because I now have more than 15 books out, so they must do. I'm a monster. Luckily, some of those are going back this weekend after I do my wrap-up video, so it's all good. But yeah, I went for a run today, my body aches. I read some of Truth Witch, which was really good. I'm kind of like, it is a lot of world building in the beginning, but I'm hoping that will start to ramp down now we have been introduced to, hopefully, the 3 main characters and like hinted at the 4th a lot. So yeah, I'm hoping that that kind of like is over now and that we can rest for a bit. And I just filmed my April TBR video, which was a kind of like discussion of all of the books I will be reading in April and preparing for my owls. Yeah, you should check that out if you haven't already. And otherwise, oh, they also had Red Seas, Red Skies and the 3rd book in that trilogy, but they didn't have Lies of Lockmore. I think it's Lies of Lockmore, and I really want to read it, so I'm gonna have to reserve it. Like, I assume they have it, but they didn't have it on the shelves. But it's a good thing they didn't have the shelves, because again, I don't know if I could have walked home with another huge book, and I don't know if I could finish it in time, because let's face it, libraries need their books back. I'm gonna start prioritizing by which ones I'm not allowed to reserve for longer, like on a weekly basis. So it is Wednesday, it is about 8:30 at night. I just came back from another work event, so this time we did an escape room, and then we followed it up by eating, I think, some Lebanese food. It's like a big barbecue grill, and then some like baba ganoush and some breads and some other like bits and bobs and some chips that I nicked from my friend's plate. But yes, it was really good fun, but it does tend to last quite a long time. It did take up a lot of my reading time this week, but that's okay. I'm not doing any active challenges right now. Just waiting for April to start, so it's all good. I did manage to read another roughly 20-25% of Truthwitch today. Yeah, mostly on the bus and on the bus home. And I am really enjoying this. So this follows two witches, Safi and Iseult, who live in one of the empires of the Witchlands, I think. They are both running from their destiny, one of which is to be a thread witch for her tribe, and the other one is to be kind of like a lady or a domina for her people. They are kind of bound together for saving each other's lives, but we don't actually know why. And currently there is a blood witch trying to find them, and he is able to track them no matter how far they go. Safi is a truth witch. She can tell when people are lying or telling the truth, and that means also the way they present themselves. So if someone is pretending, she can usually tell. It feels like wrongness against her skin. And then Iseult is a thread witch, which means she can see the bonds that tie people together, the bonds that break people apart, things like that. So a thread witch isn't that uncommon, and it seems like Iseult is a very unique kind of thread witch, which hasn't really been explored yet in this book. But truth witches are incredibly rare, so Safi is really like in danger because all the politicians and kings and rulers of all of the lands obviously want her because she can tell the truth, and who wouldn't want that? Or they might kill her to stop other people using her against them. So they are kind of like fighting for survival in this world. Safi has been caught up in a plot by her uncle, who is acting as the the lord for her region at the moment, after being engaged to the emperor. There's a big plot there, and then Iseult is also kind of like stumbling into a plot, and so that's been really interesting. And obviously, you know me, I love political thrillers, so this has been really good. The only thing I will say is that the magic isn't like quite explained. So although, for example, Safi can see threads, there are certain people she can't see threads of. Although blood witches can smell magic, he can't smell Iseult's magic. Sorry, Iseult can see the threads, and then Safi can tell truth or lies except in certain situations. So there obviously are weaknesses to the magic that I'm hoping will be explored further in the book, but I am really enjoying this. Like, so far this is definitely a 4 or 5 stars for me. It did start out quite slow. It was a lot of like information dumping in the beginning. As soon as you got past that, pretty damn good. Also, there are teasers to this, to prophecy and a dark rumor and things like that, and I'm just really excited to kind of like find out what's going on. So I'm going to stop doing this vlog and go to bed so that I can read this some more tomorrow. Hi guys, and welcome to Thursday. It is 8 o'clock in the evening. We've just finished dinner and a Game of Thrones episode, season 7, episode 1, I believe, and I've just been finishing up my daily allotment of pages in Truthwitch. So for those of you who don't know, I tend to set myself a goal, which is a slightly ambitious place I'd like to reach, usually a bit more than 25% of the book, and that was the blue post-it note here, and I have reached that. So I am now on page 347, which means I am nearly finished with the book. I would say that I am absolutely thrilled with the book. It's heading towards a 4 stars, maybe even a 5, depending on the ending. Obviously, I am one of those people who likes a really strong ending to a book, so if this can deliver on that, like City of Brass did, then this will be a solid 5 stars, to be sure. And the writing is really easy to read. I'm definitely going to be picking up the sequel. I really enjoyed this so far. So yeah, I'm not getting the themes of friendship that everyone else is getting. Like, I keep half expecting the 2 main characters to be in love or something. So it is now 8:45. I accidentally didn't move, and instead I finished this book. So this book is finished now. I did it. Another book finished in March. I'm not sure what star rating I will give it. I will have to think on it for a while. The ending wasn't as strong as, for example, City of Brass. It didn't have as many twists and turns, and there is still quite a lot of question marks in terms of the kind of like things we don't know from the start of the book. But I did really enjoy it, and I'm really glad that I read it, to be honest, and that I took the advice to read it. So yeah, I'm not sure that it will. I keep turning it to look at me as though it's a person. I'm not sure, as I said, what star I will give it. I guess you'll have to find out in my March wrap up once I've had a chance to think about it. Let's just say that I enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. Hi guys, it is 8:30 on Friday, which means it is the end of the week. The end of the reading week, obviously, not the real week. That ends on a Sunday. I don't know what you Americans are doing. Without further ado, I have picked up The Longing and the Lack. The Longing and the Lack was a review copy sent to me by the author, C.M. Spivey. Essentially, it is a story about a young woman who has gone back to Ireland to find the root of a curse that means that she's surrounded by death omens, like a white ghost follows her around, birds die whenever she's around, things like that. And she just wants to figure out why this is happening to her, what's causing it, and how to fix it. So she's gone to university to study folklore in the hometown of her father. It's really bizarre. It's a really bizarre book. It's written as though the author is Jane Austen. Like, it's super pretentious writing. People are leaving letters for each other saying things like, if my attentions are not welcome, then of course I will leave you. They wouldn't say of course. Then I will leave you alone forthwith and take no response to this letter to be a response to my inquiry. Proper posh. 18th century posh, not modern England posh. But then they're like whipping out the mobiles and typing on the laptops and talking about vodka movie nights. So it's super bizarre. I can definitely see it having an audience with steampunk crowd maybe. But I'm going to finish it because I always finish review copies that are sent to my channel, or at least for now. If I get too many, I may have to stop. But obviously now I'm not getting that many. I'm getting 1 or 2 a month, so I feel like I can incorporate them. And I really want to give this author feedback because they haven't got a great rating on Amazon at the moment. I did have a sneak peek, and I can kind of see why, because the writing is so not relevant to the plot, and also like he keeps slipping things in that like have really bizarre world building ramifications. It's modern day and it's completely normal and stuff, and just in passing, one of the characters mentions that she had to fight off a vampire. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that comes up a bit more, because that was a bit out of the blue. But I am nonetheless enjoying it. I'm imagining everyone in petticoats with laptops, to be honest, because it's the only way I can get with the writing. But we'll see. I'm 25% of the way through, and I'm probably going to finish it tomorrow, maybe on Sunday. And then obviously I can finally get started with my readathon challenges. I'm really excited. The OWL study period starts on Monday, and I'm going to have to prioritise Circe because that one needs to go back to the library on the 5th. 5 days to read it. Wish me luck, but I don't think I'll be doing anything but reading for quite a few of those days. During the course of this vlog, I have read 3 books. I have finished Throne of Glass, which I picked up on Saturday and finished on Sunday. I've finished A Large Expanse of Sea, which I picked up on Sunday and finished on Sunday, which is the first time in a long time I finished a book in a day. Well, at least one that wasn't smutty. Then I picked up on Monday Truthwitch, which I finished yesterday, and today I've picked up Longing and the Lack, which is hopefully going to be finished tomorrow or the day after. So that is not bad. For a week, that is 1 book every other day, I think, which is pretty good. I'm going to try and scale back my reading a little bit. I mean, if you've seen my TBR for April, you know that's not true. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have had an absolutely amazing week, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if that's your jam, because, you know, it makes me look good. Bye!